In this video, we're going to be going over the most painful thing you have to do in order to be successful, okay? Now, this is a bit of a different format to what my usual videos are. Usually it's either my face or it's just the my report. But now we have both, okay? Okay. Just don't pay much attention to my face. Just want to be, some more activity going on. Because, my voice could be insufferable. Okay. First things first. When we want a goal, right? The goal demands certain things of us. This, for example, running could be going on a run every day, If it's working out, the goal demands us, not the goal, if you want a six pack, the goal demands you to eat healthy, because nutrition is a big factor of, eating healthy. Duh. Okay? It's another thing with the, video games almost. A goal is to slay the boss. There are certain conditions you have to make, like maybe you have to be a certain level, maybe you have to have a certain weapon, etc., But you also, it's not about achieving, doing something. It's not about, eating the right stuff or getting to a certain level. It's about removing stuff. So what I mean by this is this is the goal, and then this is, where you're at right now, okay? You don't achieve the goal, you become the person who can achieve the goal. So, for example, again, because I'm gonna explain this to you, if we want a six-pack, for example, you have to be the person who getting a six-pack is trivial. It's easy, You don't feel any resistance to or any pain when you eat clean food, And another thing is, when you become the person who can do the thing that your goal wants to do, for example, making 10K a month, getting where you want to be in life, you have to sacrifice stuff. So the person who wants six-pack, the person who can get the six-pack, they have to sacrifice stuff that is the antithesis of that goal. So, for example, one thing you're probably going to have to remove is carbs, and more specifically, sugar. Because that is one major thing that if you don't remove in your life, you're probably not going to get a six-pack. Okay? Another thing would be fats, usually trans fats, usually, you know what I mean, right? So it's not only about the stuff you have to add, like the conditions. Almost think of the goal as like some celestial being, and it's almost like a contract, You have all this stuff, you have to do, but there's a little fine print in the bottom. That's the stuff most people don't want to do. This is the dark side, okay? That's what a lot of people forget. It's not about adding things, it's about removing things, okay? Okay, now, I'm going to have a little exercise with you. So, there is 1, 2, 3, okay? Now, what I'm going to be explaining to you is the most painful activities you're going to have to do in your business. Now, pain is subjective, but relatively speaking, these are going to be the most painful things you're going to have to do in order, okay? From getting from where you're at right now to getting your first client, okay? Okay. So imagine it's like a 100-meter race, okay? So 0 meters, 100 meters. And depending on which of these things you do denotes how far ahead of the race you will be before the race even starts. Now, what I mean by this is if you do all of these 3 things before you've even started doing outreach, doing even basic business setup, you will be very far ahead of the race, okay? Okay. Number 3, the fundamentals. Now, what do I mean by that? I'm only doing 1 through 3, so it's a bit of a broad category, but basically what I mean by fundamentals is here's a good analogy. So, you know how you have a human, right? And you know how instead of just a human being a human, it's an aggregate, of multiple different things working in tandem, right? That's kind of the business. The business isn't really a business. It's just a collection of other things, and that's built off your fundamentals. Now, what are your fundamentals? It will be your niche. It will be your niche. It'll be your problem you solve for people. It will be the solution. So you know what I mean? And then you'll have an offer. I think that's most of it. There might be 2 or 3 more, but you get the gist, right? So, and we'll just say yourself. These are the fundamentals of your business, basically. Everything comes from these. So your niche, what niche are you going to pick? The problem, what problem are you going to solve? That you do this via niche research. Niche research is painful, but it's not the worst thing in the world. It's boring, it's very unsexy, it's monotonous, you know? You have to do interviews, you have to figure out, okay, what in this niche do a problem I gotta solve? Okay, for example, if your niche is runners, one problem they could have is, ignore that, the dog. One problem runners could have is they want to achieve a certain 5K time, but they don't know how to do it. And most of the problem is their VO2 max is it's just not where it needs to be. Now, I'm pulling that shit out of my ass. It's probably not a problem. Wow. It is a problem for some people, but it's not the problem for the whole market, you know? Okay? Okay. Now, a solution to this VO2 max. You give them a training regimen that they will follow, and if they do it, their VO2 max will increase. Okay? Okay. Then you offer this as, you don't offer as the VO2 max, you offer as the place they want to be. So if they want to be at a better 5K time, you say, hey, I can get you sub 25K in 3 months. Stuff like that, okay? And if you don't get that, you get your money back, full guarantee, okay? So you add a guarantee to it. And then you have yourself. Because this is great and all, but if you don't believe this will work, you will unconsciously sabotage this whole operation, you know? So you need to believe in yourself that you can actually have a niche, that you can actually solve a problem for them. You have a solution for that problem, and then you can offer it, okay? Okay. So those are the fundamentals, okay? And this stuff, you know, this is where 80% of people actually quit, you know, or don't even start. Because it's like the Pareto principle. 80% of the results happen from 20% of the people. So what happened is 80% of the people that try and start a business, they don't even know what to do, you know? It's also in the program, link in the description. It's a free program, helps you get where you want. In that program, I guarantee you 80% of the people are going to be failing. And I guarantee you 80% of the people who are going to be watching this video, that's right, if you want to, you can click on that link, but I guarantee you 80% of you are going to fail. It's just the principle. Now, you can change that, you know? If you believe you can succeed, then you will succeed. If you have a little inkling of hope, you know, but that will be the case for most people, you know. Okay, so we got the fundamentals done, and the fundamentals, even though this is probably one of the less painful things to do, it's still, you know, it's almost like here's like a little pyramid. I'll give you an example. So we have service delivery, so you actually providing the solution to the niche. You have sales. So it's you actually closing the people to get the money. And then you have outreach. Okay? Now, all of these things are very important. And they cannot exist without the other. Okay? This is kind of what this is. Okay? But if you can't do outreach, you can't do sales, you can't do service delivery. So fundamentals is kind of like the outreach in this pyramid. Okay? So you can't really do the first 2 things unless you have your fundamentals. Well, you can, but they won't. It's kind of like 1 + 1 = 11. You know, it's best to just have all of them, and then it'll just go exponentially. You know, kind of like that. Okay. Number 2 is, funny enough, actually doing the work. Now, what do I mean by this? I'll give you an example. Let's say you have, what's a good analogy here? Here we go. Okay. So, in order to achieve your goal, you need to reach a certain points system, like a video game almost. You need 100,000 points, and you're at yourself right now. And yourself could be at 0, 100, -50, doesn't matter. Okay. each action you take that takes you towards your goal, you will get 5 points. But if you do not do the goal, or you do something that regresses you away from the goal, or does not help you towards the goal, it's minus 10. So if you take the pleasurable option, it is double what you would have done if it was a discipline option. Okay? Okay. You see what I'm giving here? Now, doing the work, that is essentially adding the points so you can get towards your goal. Okay? For example, doing the work could be doing outreach, doing sales calls, service delivery, that sort of thing. And depending on how painful the action is that moves you towards your goal, is the amount of points you get more. So let's say you make one cold call. Okay, that'll probably only get you 2 points. Okay, what about your first sales call? Okay, that'll probably get you 20 points. Okay, what about delivering for your first client? You have no idea how to do Facebook ads, no idea how to do service delivery, that sort of thing. That could be $200 paid. Now, only of them are at ask, but you get the point. It's sort of an abstraction, okay? Okay. Again, this is where most people fail. This is where it's even caught me for some time. You know, I'm gonna probably after this video, I'll probably just do the work. You know, because your current self is like an animal almost, and it wants to stay where it's at. And that's why a goal is so painful. That's why not everyone's fit, because there's this little inkling in your head that says, "Hey, this isn't a part of me. I don't want to do this." And that's where most people fail. Okay, so it's actually getting up and doing the work. Okay, it's actually getting up, doing the cold calls, cold emails, actually reaching out to people, closing them, delivering for them to actually get to your goal. Now, you might be thinking, "Well, that's great, Charlie, but how is that not the most painful thing you can do?" 1 and 2 could be flip-flop, but I personally think that if you get number 1, if you can simply do number 1, 2 and 3 become trivial. They become trivially easy, okay? It's almost like if you do 1, sorry about the knee thing, probably shouldn't do that. If you do 1, it's almost like if you don't, sorry about that. Okay, so if you don't do 1, it's like running. So let's say you're at the 50-meter line. You've done 1 and 2, but you're running with a weight vest on. If you do number 1, and you're like at the 30-meter line, and this guy's at the 50-meter line, but you did number 1, it's like running. It's almost like just not running with the weight vest on, you know? Now, what is this number 1 thing? Glad you asked. It is sorry, I just had a brain fart. So after that brain fart I just had, here's the number 1 thing. It is sacrifice. Now, what do I mean by this? I don't mean like some ritual thing where you're like sacrificing a baby so your like harvest is better. That's not what I mean. What I mean is, you remember back when like this goal thing where, you know, it's kind of like almost like a contract and there's certain conditions you have to enable to achieve the goal, you know, become the person who can achieve this. Remember that little fine print at the bottom? That's the thing. That's what it is. Your sacrifices. What is this thing? What is that? There is usually one thing, one sacrifice that if you make, again with the Pareto principle, it just becomes 80% easier. Just 80% easier. What is that? It's the thing you know you don't want to get rid of. Okay? And for examples, again from before, like a sacrifice the person has to make if they want to get a 6-pack could be sugar, and that could be a very painful thing to do. Getting rid of these things, I kid you not, is probably the most painful thing you can do. Most people don't get rid of it, okay? And again, you can still achieve this goal if you don't sacrifice it, but it becomes, again, 80% harder. It becomes way more of a slog, okay? So if you just do this is the most painful thing. If you can do this, you can do anything, okay? Let me say that again. If you can simply sacrifice the things that is regressing you towards your goal, if you can simply destroy it, get rid of it, burn it, just snap your fingers, gone. If you can get rid of that, you will be successful, okay? Okay. And that's what most people won't do. 80% of the people won't do this. They'll go back to scrolling on. That's one of them. Short form content. That is the one thing that you put your time and your energy towards. Okay? So imagine you only have like 100 units, right? You're putting 80% of the units, again, Pareto principles, into the thing that is regressing towards your goal. Okay? This is it. This is it. If you can find the thing that is regressing toward, that is making you not achieve what you want to be, you simply get rid of it. How? It's usually denoted by how much energy you have to do to get the thing back. What do I mean by that? Let's say you're addicted to video games, okay? And let's say you play on the PS5 or Xbox for like 8-ish hours. Right? 8 to 10 hours, okay? Now, what will happen is, let's say you get yourself a trusty fire axe. Yeah, not the best drawing. And you just hack at it, hack at it, hack at it. If you simply do that, if you simply hack at it, or just donate it, sell it, if you do anything like that, you have to buy another $500, re-download your account. That's so much work to get the same level of gratification that you would have just had, okay? Same thing with social media, smoking. Just get rid of it. Social media. Like, delete your account. Don't uninstall the app. Just delete the account, okay? Okay. So I think that is the end of the video. So if you do not do any of the stuff I said in this video, and you just don't want to do it, it's fine. But you're going to stay where you're at. But if you actually want to make the sacrifice and do the work, have the fundamentals, well, my friend, it's actually going to get a lot easier. Because there is a link in the description down below this video. It is a free community that has 45 hours, roughly free content. And then there's a paid version, which has all this AI stuff that makes it exponentially. You just achieve your goal like this, You will achieve your goal super fast if you do this, okay? There's hundreds, if not thousands of people getting results in there. Hundreds of testimonials, thousands of testimonials, actually. Yeah, take the step. Just do the painful shit. So, yeah, most people won't do that. And, yeah, that's the end of the video. Like and subscribe.